Welcome to the Rock Your World Naturally show, sharing God's prescription for total health in spirit, soul, and body. I'm your host, Rekishia McMillan, award-winning author, Air Force veteran, and total health coach. I'm passionate about sharing biblical truth, scientific research, and practical lifestyle approaches to help heal your world naturally. In this exclusive interview, I had the opportunity to host Juli Realy. Juli was a seasoned horse trainer, stable owner, and equine science instructor. After becoming ill, she could no longer meet the physical demands of her career. Be encouraged as you listen to her personal story of overcoming injury, depression, and chronic pain. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the show certified happy for no reason trainer and sound therapist, Juli Realy.
Thank you.
Oh, it is such a pleasure to have you on the show today, Juli. And before we get started, I usually open up with an icebreaker question. So if you could just let our audience know, what are you doing in your world right now that is rocking your world naturally?
That's a good question. And I really love the name Rock Your World Naturally. And to me, it brings an image of rocking, which is comforting, like the mother rocks the baby. So I guess the question would refer to what I do naturally to provide comfort for myself. And I do provide comfort for myself so that I can be resilient in providing comfort for others. And I really need to have time every morning. I make time for meditation, prayer, and movement. And sometimes I combine them together and one leads to the other. But it's really an important way for me to keep my neurological system where it needs to be, to keep my heart open, to keep my emotions regulated. And it allows me time to set an intention to make it the best day of my life, which is my goal, is to celebrate every day, celebrate every moment, to be present in the spirit, to be present for other people in my life. And that starts, I believe, with being present for myself. So that's a really big part of what rocks my world naturally.
Oh, and just as you were just sharing your heart, Juli, I just saw so many different images come to mind when you talked about, as a child that's being rocked or being comforted. All of those different things that you shared certainly do bring a level of comfort. And I think that even in the climate and the time that we are living in, that so many individuals are looking for that space, they're looking for that opportunity to be able to find that comfort. And as you just shared some of those different practices that you make a part of your day, whether that's meditating, whether that's finding that peace that comes from having that quiet time with the Lord. So those were all so many insightful and just some really rich things that you've shared with us this morning.
Thank you.
And so, Juli, taking a look at the work that you do, can you share with our listeners what is the heart or what it is that God has called you to do?
Well, I grew up and I was a horse trainer my whole life. And I coached people and tried to get them to have nice relationships with their horses and learn how to control their energy with the horses. And I suffered I started suffering with my health, similar to what you went through in a different way, but illness sort of took over and I deteriorated over a period of years to the point where I was no longer strong enough to do my job. And I continued doing, some ministry work with the church and other activities, and started doing some drum circle facilitation and painting parties type of events to still connect with people and help work with them. I really like working with people. I always have. And then I became too weak to do those things. My illness continued to deteriorate, and I had to let all those things go. I was injured, and that put me in a wheelchair for a couple of weeks, broke some bones, and the emaciated condition of my body really had a trouble handling the stress of the injury and the inactivity of being in a wheelchair, and my organs started shutting down, and I really became angry at God, and I lost all hope. I had medication that induced anxiety and depression, and I sort of hit the bottom of the barrel. I really didn't feel like I had anything to live for anymore. I was always in pain, and I gave up. I just existed. I was totally in survival mode. But I had loving support, and I was directed to start doing some restorative yoga, and through that led me into breath work, and that led me into meditation, and that started opening the door to healing for me. And I went through a very, very deep transformation and spiritual awakening, and reconnected with God again, and developed a little spark again for life, and started thinking, I can do this. And I started, I happened to tune into a global sound healing summit. It was free, and it just happened to present itself to me. So I viewed that. It was like 5 days long, and many, many different sound healers and presenters, and I started working with sound, and that was also a big part of healing for me. I always was a musician. I always loved music. I always felt it was therapeutic, but I never experienced really receiving the therapy like I did when I broke down and started healing and looking to music and sound to help be restorative for me. So all those things, I did so much. I just worked really hard at maintaining my health. I had to go through 5 different diets to find food that I could eat. I went to a functional medicine doctor instead of Western medicine, because they really couldn't help me. They were struggling, and I was not improving. I was just getting worse. And along with my practices in the functional medicine doctor, I started improving, and I ran into this Happy for No Reason program, and it just resonated with me so much. It's a program that talks about building your inner home for happiness and creating pillars of support, and they list 7 categories that are like the pillars of support, and then each pillar has some exercises that you can do to support that. And the pillars are, the foundation, which is taking ownership of your happiness. Then the pillar of the mind, don't believe everything you think. And the pillar of the heart, letting love lead. The pillar of the body, making your cells happy. The pillar of the soul, connecting with your higher power, with God. Spirit, the roof, living a life inspired by purpose, and the garden, which is cultivating nourishing relationships. And when I tapped into this program, I had already done more than half of the exercises on my own that I had that God, laid before me. I'm very open to like what flows into my life. If something presents itself to me, I'm like, well, okay, this is here for a reason. I'm going to do it. So I sort of got led into this program, and I really, I developed an oversensitivity to electromagnetic frequencies and to energy. And at first it was very difficult for me and used to make me sick, but over time I've learned to harness it. And it gave me the ability to really feel the energy of other people and recognize emotionally where they were through their energy field, something I never experienced before. And this started becoming a part of my life, and I would meet people that were struggling and suffering, and I would recognize that they were going through what I had gone through and already overcome. And I just would want to take them and grab them and shake them and say, you can do this. You can overcome this. You have the power to do this. There's resources to tap into. And I just wanted to start helping people get through depression, anxiety, negative thought patterns, and all the things that contribute to our illness. There's illness of the body, and there's illness of the spirit and mind and heart, and they all interrelate together. And that's what motivated me to start working in a healing capacity. Now, I don't feel like I am doing the healing. I am working as a healer, but I really feel like I'm just really allowing the power of Jesus to flow through me for the healing. And I believe that everybody has the power to heal. I believe that we are gifted by God with innate abilities to heal ourselves if we set that intention to do so.
Oh, absolutely. And as I'm just listening to you share your story, Julie, and how you were just in that very dark place where your health was in a position to where you were challenged, you were in a wheelchair for a couple of months, just in a very dark place. And so it was as if God connected you, whether it was to other people, supports, to really bring about that wisdom that was needed to help you to regain and recover your health. And I know that there are so many individuals, and there may even be individuals who are listening today who are really at that dark place where they don't know what to do regarding their health. The Bible talks about having the wisdom, and if we don't have wisdom, that He would give it to us liberally, that He would give us the wisdom to know how to go about um, getting into that space of healing. Because as you shared, Julie, God has created our bodies in such a magnificent, miraculous way that when we give the body what it needs, it will truly heal itself, whether that's through um, the functional medicine doctors or whether that is through sound therapies. There's different modalities that are out there that God provides to be able to bring that nourishing and that healing and restorative work in our lives. And so, again, just taking a look at your journey, when you were working with a functional medicine doctor, Julie, what was the difference that you noticed from conventional doctors, whether they were prescribing you a lot of medications? What were some of the differences that you saw there regarding your health being restored through functional medicine?
I had some very difficult experiences with doctors, with the Western doctors, and I had to go to the emergency room a couple of times, and I was so ill and so emaciated, had big bags under my eyes that sometimes they treated me like I was a drug addict looking for more drugs. And the doctors didn't always believe what I was saying, and they had their skills that they had developed through their training, but it was isolated a little bit and they couldn't always connect the pieces. And so when I would talk about some problems, they would just say, well, just here, take antidepressants. They wouldn't address it as a problem. They would just want to medicate me more. And I'm oversensitive to medications and don't like taking medications. And you know, I mean, at one point they wanted me to eat foods that was making me sick, and I was telling them I can't eat this food, and they just wanted to put me on antidepressants and say, well, deal with it, you have to gain weight. But they really weren't finding the root of the problem. I couldn't even get them to do stool samples. You know, when I went to the functional medicine doctor, they were trying to find out why, instead of just like treating what was going on, the
Yes.
symptoms with medication. The functional medicine doctors really wanted to identify what was causing the problem. You know, they didn't want to just drug me up. And they started doing stool samples and just all, you know, different things. And then when they do prescribe supplements, they actually check with this, I don't know what it's called. It's like a little machine that checks your electromagnetic energy of your body and the energy of the supplement to see if they're compatible and
Sure.
to see what dose you could get. Because that was one of the big problems with when the doctors would give me medication. You know, it's like the dose, it would like keel me over. And
Sure.
just adjusting everything. So the functional medicine doctors had different tools and they had a different training approach. And I mean, Western medicine doctors, God bless them, they're needed and we need them. But for my particular circumstance, I needed to go outside that range and go into a different level of skill and knowledge from the doctors. And, you know, I felt like I was listened to.
There you
They were
go.
dismissing things I was saying. I felt like a human being again, you know?
Yes.
Not
Yes.
like I was just in a mill. I mean, the amount of time they would give me, like,
Yeah.
too, was different, you know?
Mhm.
But they were independently. They weren't part of a corporation. They didn't have to fit the schedule, you know? They could
Right.
make it fit for me. And that helped a lot. But I got to tell you that movement and tuning into my body's wisdom was a very, very powerful healer for me, and meditating to be able to um, call forth my negative habits, my negative thoughts, my negative emotions, and to um, reprogram the grooves in my brain to make new paths of positive thinking and positive emotions. That was a very, very, very powerful thing. And that's why the Happy for No Reason program really um, resonated with me. You know, they talk about the pillar of the heart and they talk about how gratitude is so important. You know, like the emotions that we experience release chemicals in our body. And there's
Yes.
there's like all those feel good chemicals, you know, like the endorphins and the GABA and the dopamine. They're just also they're like the feel good chemicals. When you experience positive emotions like gratitude, um, kindness, you know, all those emotions release
Hmm.
positive chemicals. When you experience stressful emotions, anger,
Yes.
greed, hate, resentment, fear, that releases negative chemicals. And those negative chemicals actually open the door to your genetic diseases. Like,
Hmm.
like the positive emotions keeps those doors locked and keeps you healthy. The negative chemicals open the doors to the disease to release and open up. So
Hmm.
um, that was really a healing part. And what's been uh, you know, my musical background, I started well, I was into drumming, but I took a program through the Shift Network where I did the Global Sound Healing Summit, and I took a class that was Discover Your Healing Rhythm.
Mm.
Drummer, I thought, well, that would be really good, and I took that class, and it was wonderful, and I started like getting inspirational little messages that would come to me that would turn into little chants that I would put on the drum and little heart songs. And they would carry me through the day. Like sometimes when I was having a rough time, I would just have this chant I would pull on and sort of sing it along as I was going through my day to support me.
Hmm.
And, just like, I'm glad to be alive. I'm glad to be alive. This is the best day of my life.
Mm, I love that. And even as you're talking, Julie, it reminds me so much of David. And David also had the musical gift that God had given him to be able to play the harp. And the Bible talks about when King Saul was oppressed by a spirit, he would call upon David to play soothing, healing, anointed music to help relieve him of that depression and oppression that he was going through. And so, even as you're sharing the gift that God has given you to be able to minister through sound, it has the ability to lift individuals up from whether it's a depressive place or whether they're feeling oppressed or down. It's just the power of music and sound that God has really given to us, even as a healing modality that's even noted in the scriptures.
I agree. It's very, very powerful. And I've actually gotten into a little bit of the study of the music from the Psalms. And it's all actually, the music is all played on a different frequency level than modern music.
Yes.
We've changed it. And the frequencies that of the music that was played for the Psalms is a healing frequency.
Mm.
And actually, the sound healers will get instruments that are tuned to those frequencies. It makes it hard for the modern world of music because they're not equally tuned, so you can't switch keys when you play, so it makes it hard sometimes to play with other people. But it's very, very powerful. And touching back on the pillar of the heart, I talked about gratitude being one of the most powerful emotions that releases some of the best chemicals for our bodies. But also, another big key in this program is forgiveness, because forgiveness,
Yes.
we all know how much we need forgiveness, but forgiveness is really difficult because we carry wounds and it's hard for us to give forgiveness. It brings to my mind a little joke, and this is actually from the Happy for No Reason book. There's a little joke in there about two monks who were imprisoned and tortured, and they met up after 2 years of after they were released. 2 years later, they ran across each other, and the one monk says to the other, "Well, have you forgiven them yet?" And the other monk says, "No, no way, I will never forgive them."
Mm.
First monk turned to him and says, "Well, I see they still have you in prison."
Mm. Wow. Wow,
It
Julie.
does. The not forgiving ourselves or other people
Yes.
chains us and puts us in a prison.
Mm, 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 mm.
It's not, forgiveness, it doesn't have to, when we forgive another person, it doesn't have to let them back into our lives.
Yeah.
It doesn't condone their wrong behavior. Our hatred for them doesn't give us power, doesn't give us control, doesn't
Yeah.
give us strength. It doesn't punish the other person. It only punishes us.
That's right.
And there's a really cool little forgiveness technique called Ho'oponopono. It's from Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
It's just four comments. It's, "I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you,
Mm.
I love you."
Wow.
But people say, "Well, why should I say I'm sorry? It's the other person who injured me." But you
Mm.
know what? That other person is only injuring us because they have their own injury that they're protecting.
Yes.
So when
That's
we say I'm sorry to somebody that we feel should be saying I'm sorry to us, then our I'm sorry becomes, "I'm sorry if I did anything that made you react in a way that hurts you or other people. Because it's a two-way street.
Yes.
They're reacting,
Mm-hmm.
So it's we say I'm sorry, please forgive me, and that releases us. Thank you, I love you. This
Yeah.
is beautiful practice that we need to do with ourselves. We
Yes.
need to stop judging ourselves. We need to stop judging other people. We need to forgive ourselves. We need to love ourselves. We need to
Mm-hmm.
forgive other people. We need to love other people regardless of what's going on. And if we have gratitude and we practice gratitude and we practice forgiveness, that's going to release feel good chemicals in our body. It's going to keep our immune system strong. It's going to give us resilience to deal with the world in spite of what's going on.
Yes.
All the stuff that's going on is just driving people into anxiety, into depression, into stress, and into
Yeah.
negative chemicals that are going to help them get ill.
That's
And
right.
if they stay grounded, and of course, Jesus is the perfect example of gratitude and staying grounded in forgiveness, then if
Yeah.
we stay grounded in that, then we will stay well and we can be happy and we will be able to release and let go of the pain and the injuries that we've suffered. And as I was meditating on and this morning, I was blessed with a new inspiration, and
Mm.
I would like to share it if you would like. I can sing it a little bit. I can put my drum on the background. I'm not a professional singer, but it's just a little heart song that the Lord gave to me, and I believe that He wanted me to share it with everybody.
Oh, absolutely. I welcome and would love for you to share what the Lord has given to you.
Okay. Oh, grace of God, rain down on me and wash away the wounds of my heart. Oh, grace of God, rain down on me and wash away the scars of my pain. Oh, grace of God, rain down on me, rain down and set me free. Rain down and set me free. Oh, rain down, wash away my tears. Rain down, wash away my wounds. Rain down and fill me with your grace. Rain down, wash away my scars. Rain down, wash away my pain. Rain down, fill me with your grace. Rain down, fill my empty space with your grace. Fill my empty space with your grace.
Wow. Glory to God. I just felt the presence of God and just was, even as you were just ministering that, just sensing not even in my own life, but I know that others were just receiving the grace of God being poured out and rained out on our lives. So thank you so much, Julie, for just sharing your heart. And for those that really want to take this journey, Julie, of finding that place of being happy for no reason, that want to be able to enter into a time of sound healing therapy work with you, where can they find you out there on the web?
Well, my website is www.juliforjoy.com, and the Juli is spelled Juli without the E. So it's juliforjoy.com. And right now I have a free offer on my website that if you go to my site, a pop-up will come up and you can sign up to receive the Happy for No Reason workbook that actually has the 21 happiness habits in it. So that is a free offering for your readers to receive. And also they can look on my website and see events. I do offer 30-minute, I call them discovery sessions. They're free. And that's for people who are interested in working with me for us to connect and discuss a little bit and see if I can help them, if it's a fit for us to work together. And so I do offer, coaching for happiness and restoring your hope and joy in life. And I also do offer sound healing restoration. And it's really to trigger you to believe that you can heal yourself and access your own healing ability and power. So I do offer all that, and that can be found on my website. I also have a Facebook page, a Juli for Joy Facebook page that I post on, and I also Juli for Joy on Instagram. So I'm available that way. And if people are interested in reading the Happy for No Reason book, they can find that on Amazon, and that's by Marcy Shimoff, Shimoff. And it's a very, very good book. And I just put together a 1 hour workshop that I will be doing free. It'll be a Zoom event, and it's called Choose to Be Happy, because you do have to choose it and you do have to work on it. It's not a choice that you make and the key turns and you become happy. Our brains are programmed and wired with a lot of habits and a lot of negative thoughts that interfere with our ability to be resilient in happiness. And you do have to set an intention to do this for yourself, and you have to commit, and you have to do the practices to accomplish it. But the hour workshop will be introducing the Happy for No Reason program, talking about the happiness continuum, talking about how you can raise your happiness set point, and talking about the three main takeaways for better living. And so I invite anybody who's interested to join that. It'll be on Zoom. It'll be on February 9th. And the information is on my website. I just posted it over the weekend. I still have to update my Facebook page with that information. But you can see it on my website. And then also I will be, if you enroll for that little seminar, then you can also receive a free gift, which is a little heart coherence meditation on gratitude.
Well, those are all wonderful, wonderful things. And Juli, it has truly been a joy to have you and to host you on the show today. It's been amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rekishia. I'm honored to have been invited to be here to share. I thank you so much. You do such wonderful work. Your book is wonderful. I loved your book on the gemstones because I do believe gemstones have healing properties.
Yes.
And I know that there's some veins of Christianity that doesn't, that think they're tools of the devil, but tools are tools. It's the intention behind the tools.
That's right.
It always comes down to intention.
That's right. That's right.
So I have a lot of gratitude for the work that you do in helping other people, and gratitude for your sponsors. And I really have gratitude for everybody who took the time to be present and tune in to share and receive and just be part of the community. I feel the support of the community, and it's beautiful. And I have gratitude for being invited into that community. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you are so, so very welcomed. And I just pray that God will continue to use you to spread his love and his joy and the message of healing to all those that you come in contact with, Julie.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it is the best day of my life today, and it will be tomorrow, and it will be the next day, because I'm going to make that happen regardless of what's happening around me. I keep reminding myself that I have to set that intention.
Yes, yes, yes. And God bless you, Julie.
Thank you so much.
For health tips, total health education, and inspiration, visit rockyourworldnaturally.com, on Facebook and YouTube, Rock Your World Naturally, and on Twitter, Rock Your World 28.